There's a similar verse in Srimad Bhagavatam. Vadanti tat tattva vidas tattvam yat jnanamadvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti shabdyate. Which means that the seers of the truth, they see the absolute truth in three features: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. That's the understanding of all the scriptures. Now, Brahman is the effulgence that's coming from the Lord, the light. Paramatma is the localized aspect, who is the Paramatma within the atom and within the space between the atoms, within the heart of every living being as well. That's the Paramatma. And then Bhagavan iti shabdyate. Bhagavan is the supreme personality of Godhead, which includes the Brahman, which includes the Paramatma. That's the supreme personality of Godhead, Bhagavan. The Brahman aspect has just the Sat aspect of Krishna. Paramatma aspect has Sat and Chit, and Bhagavan aspect has Sat, Chit, and Ananda. A very wonderful example that you can understand is like a train. If someone does not know how a train looks like, and then you tell him, you know what? Do you want to know how a train looks like? Go to the train station, and that's where you will find. So that person stands in the train station, and of course, when he comes, when he sees that the train, he sees suddenly there is commotion in the station. Yes, why is there a commotion? Oh, the train is approaching. That's why. So then he looks at the train. What is it that's approaching again? Now, what does the train look like? Let me see. And he sees just some light. And maybe if it's a coal train and some smoke, but just some light it sees, especially when it's dark and the train is approaching. It doesn't know how a train looks like. It's light. This is compared to the stage when we are trying to understand God. We don't know who God is. And then we see the light. We think this is God. Just like the person thought train means light, because everyone was saying, this is train, this is train. And all he could see is light. He thought light is train maybe. Then as the train approached nearer, he saw, oh, it's not just the light. It also has the engine, and then different bogies along with it. It has a form. Oh, this is train, just some engine with some bogies and light. That's something similar to what people feel when they realize the Paramatma aspect. Oh, there is not just light, but there is a localized aspect also. And then when the train comes fully to the station, it stops there. Then he sees there are people inside the train. They are coming out the train. Some people are boarding the train. There is an exchange of passengers that's going on. Similarly, when the person completely understands the full aspect of God, he sees, oh, it's not just the Brahman, not just the light, not just Paramatma, which is the localized aspect, but also Bhagavan, where there is an exchange of loving reciprocation that happens with Bhagavan. With Brahman and Paramatma, we cannot exchange loving reciprocation. That's why they do not have the Ananda aspect. Ananda aspect comes only with the reciprocation of love. Think of any good time that you had when you were very blissful. There must be some exchange of love associated with it in some form or the other, some form of appreciation, some form of loving exchange. That's when we feel most blissful, Ananda. So it is not that God is Brahman and God is Paramatma and God is Bhagavan. No, God is always the full Bhagavan. It's our realization of God that takes us to the stages of Brahman, to the stage of Paramatma, to the stage of Bhagavan. It's our realization of that train. The train is always the train. It's just that person's realization of that train that keeps increasing. That's Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. And that's what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is explaining. Do you remember? Do you know That same super soul is Lord Chaitanya. The same Brahman is Lord Chaitanya. The same Bhagavan is Lord Chaitanya, Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Krishna himself, full with 6 opulences. He's the supreme truth.
So what are these 6 opulences of the Lord? That is described by Parashar Muni. Parashar Muni says, in the Vishnu Purana, it is explained in Canto 6, Chapter 5, Text 47 of the Vishnu Purana, it explains, Aishwaryasya samagrasya viryasya yashasha shriyaha jnana vairagyos chaivas shannam bhaga itingana, which means Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is thus defined by Parashar Muni, who is full in 6 opulences. One who has all strength, all fame, all wealth, all knowledge, all beauty, and all renunciation.